Hi everyone, my name is Tara Russell and today is Tuesday, which means it's time to discuss our Panic at the Book Club Book of the Week. In fact, it's time to discuss our 52nd ever book club episode, which is King of Wrath by Ana Huang. So if you like romance, fantasy, or even thriller, basically anything fiction book related, then I suggest you head on over to the channel's intro video, where you can find out more information on how you can take part in this online book club. We list the next 4 books below and on TikTok along with the discussion dates. That way you can choose the genre that best suits you and the best time frame to read it in. We also accept your bookish feedback in a wide manner of ways. Post your comment below a video, send in a voice note, or even send me a short video clip of you discussing the book. Alternatively, you can just send me a direct message. Ruthless, meticulous, and arrogant Dante Rousseau thrives on control, both personally and professionally. The billionaire CEO never planned on marrying until the threat of blackmail forces him into an engagement with a woman he doesn't even know, Vivian Lau, jewelry heiress and daughter of his newest enemy. It doesn't matter how beautiful and charming she is, he'll do everything in his power to destroy the evidence and their betrothal. There's only one problem. Now he has her, he can't bring himself to let her go. Elegant, ambitious, and well-mannered Vivian Lau is the perfect daughter, and the family's ticket into the highest of high society. Marrying a blue-blooded Rousseau would mean opening doors that would otherwise remain closed to her new money family. While the rude and elusive Dante isn't exactly her idea of a dream partner, she agrees to the arranged marriage out of a sense of duty to her family. While craving his touch was never a part of the plan, neither was the worst thing she could possibly do: fall in love with her future husband. King of Wrath is a steamy, arranged marriage billionaire romance, but it contains explicit content and profanity, is recommended for mature readers only. So this is the spoiler-free section of the video, where we'll discuss any spoiler-free points before moving on to a clearly marked section of the video which will contain spoilers and more specifics about the book. All these chapters were a pretty reasonable length, however, considering I devoured this book in the short period of only 2 days, I don't think it really mattered all that much, do you? If you've ever read any of Ana Huang's other books, then you kind of know what you're getting yourself in for. It's easy to read romance, kind of like daytime TV, easy to consume, not very complicated, and at times very cheesy. Plus, there was plenty of spice in this one without it feeling like it was overtaking the whole book. It was enemies to lovers, arranged marriage, and it featured a morally grey love interest. If you liked her other series Twisted, then you'll probably like this one as well. What I will say is that although it had a narrative that was interesting enough, it certainly wasn't the main focus. Not a great deal happened. I mean, the book was mostly centered around these two characters and their relationship, or lack of, which is probably what made it such an easy read. I mean, the story was super simple, but it did do a really nice job of painting a picture and getting you to know those characters. At times, I can guarantee these characters will make you laugh, swoon, and maybe even want to pull your own hair out. I rated this book a 4 out of 5, so I don't mean any of these comments negatively. Not all books need the adventure of a good fantasy or the dark, tense atmosphere of a good thriller. This book perfectly fits into my category of sometimes I just need a little pick-me-up read. And this book just does that so well. I mean, was it the most original book ever? No. Was it the best ever piece of writing? No. Am I glad I read it? Absolutely. Moving on to that part of the video, I suggest if you haven't read this book yet, go do that first, because beyond this point there will definitely be spoilers. I feel like I don't have a ton to say about this book. I mean, it follows a fairly common plot point. Boy claims not to like girl, while obviously fancying the pants off of her. Some time passes and the boy does in fact fall head over heels with the girl. Boy messes up only to chase after the girl to get her back. This might not be the type of book where you're on the edge of your seat, not knowing what's going to happen next, but it had other ways of creating tense moments, and I didn't want to put the book down until they got their happy ending. While the storyline was fine, there wasn't really much to it, and I would have liked a little bit more on the blackmail side of things and finding the blackmail material. However, I'm also really aware that would have made the book completely different. I think these sort of books toe the line between a more traditional romance and something like a spicier mafia book. I guess what I'm trying to say is that King of Wrath is kind of like a vanilla mafia romance, if that makes any sense. Like, if you liked this book but felt like it wasn't dark enough for you or spicy enough, then maybe you should read the Queens and Monsters series or something. The ending wasn't surprising. In fact, the only surprising thing about this book was just how much of a horrible person Francis was. I mean, from the very beginning, well, Dante's first chapter, you do get a pretty good idea that the guy is an arsehole. But later on, after he's just disowned his own daughter because she didn't agree with the whole blackmailing thing, he acts like a child. I also really liked how the book didn't just give that part a happy ending. Like, no, it wasn't okay, and yes, it's fine that you put yourself first sometimes and you stick up for yourself, even if it's against family members and friends. I was really happy when Vivian finally put her foot down and set those boundaries with her dad. I mean, there may have been a small celebratory moment, but I did like how the book discussed that different family dynamics may exist in different cultures. When Dante started ignoring Vivian yet again there in the end, I get why, but he just made me want to roll my eyes and give the man a little shake. Like, what are you doing? Even when these two characters supposedly hated each other, I really liked their dynamics. I mean, I liked their banter and back and forth, and even their snidey comments were a nice touch. After everything he did, I don't care. All was forgiven after that adorable ending. Again, pretending to meet for the first time, this time like an ordinary couple, certainly wasn't an original idea. It's definitely been done before, but I still thoroughly enjoyed it, and oh, how Dante did it so well. The coffee shop meet cute was in fact very fucking adorable. One thing that really bugged me was Vivian's sister. I mean, don't get me wrong, I really liked how she had someone that she could talk to, someone that could relate to this bizarre situation she was in and how frustrating her family could be. But is it just me, or was it super wrong for her sister to ask Vivian to put everything aside and try and figure things out with their dad? Also, I don't think it was at all necessary. The only thing it achieved was yet again confirming how much of a terrible person Francis is. Also, have any of you actually tried their soy sauce and ice cream or Pringles, pickles, and pudding concoction? I mean, I don't think I'm up for that stomachache, but I can't say I'm not curious as to whether or not those combinations work. So as for the question, would I recommend the book? I have my more serious books that I would recommend to family and strangers, and then I have these sort of books that, while yes, I would absolutely recommend them, I would only recommend them to people who already knew what they were getting themselves in for, if you know what I mean. And will I be reading any more from Ana Huang? Absolutely. I still have 2 more in the Twisted series that I need to read, and I would happily continue with this one. I haven't read any of her If Love series, but perhaps once I've finished these 2, I'll give that one a try as well. But let me know what you thought. Did you enjoy the book?
Today we're reviewing King of Wrath. I went into King of Wrath completely blind purely because I'm just a girl who was obsessed. I think Ana Huang has an amazing way of writing characters, so I feel like with every character you get to know their whole story, past and present, in so much detail, and I don't understand because most of her books are like less than 400 pages, and I don't understand how you can get so much information in that. Like, what? All of her books tend to be around the 400 page mark, give or take either way, and it's crazy how much information she manages to jam pack in that little space. I find her books just the right length, like they're never too long where you think it's a bit intimidating, and they're never too short where you think, oh, it's just a quick read. It's just one of them where it's nicely in the middle. It takes you a couple of days as long as you read it like a normal, steady paced. All of that, I mean my pace, whatever, if that's fast or slow, I don't know. I think Ana Huang has an amazing way of writing characters, like I say, writing just the story in general, and I highly rate her spice scenes. I'm just throwing it out there. So in King of Wrath, I really loved the enemies to lovers aspect of it, which is interesting actually because my favourite of the Twisted series is Twisted Hate, which is enemies to lovers. So I'm starting to think Anna just is great at enemies to lovers. Maybe she has an experience, I don't know, but she writes great books. So King of Wrath follows Dante and Vivian, and my opinion is Dante carries this book, literally. His storyline is where it is all happening. As you can guess, Dante's past, present and future is in this book. In these mere 350 pages, we know everything about him. And his brother actually. His brother is a massive part of this book as well. I'm hoping one of the later books in the series is actually his brother's perspective, because I think I'd enjoy that book even more personally. But we shall see. I'm sorry, I'm bringing it back to the OGs, because if you like these, then read this. It is classic Ana Huang style and writing and types of characters. It's a safe bet, but you know you're going to like it. And also, as a plus side in my eyes, there are so many character crossovers and storyline crossovers. You hear about some of the storylines in the Twisted series in this book as well, and it's really just fun seeing characters from another book in this one. One of the characters from this series is actually really present in this book, and I'm not gonna lie, he is an arsehole. You don't see him as being an idiot in the Twisted series, but in this, and in this series I imagine, he's not someone I want to be messing around with. So you get to see so many different perspectives in this book, which aren't even just totally to do with this book. You don't need to read the Twisted series to enjoy this, but it's fun seeing 2 worlds come together when actually it's not 2 different worlds, they're all one. It's fun. Happy families. So I will definitely be carrying on with this series 100%. I think there's 3 others because one new one's like come out last month, and I think that one's the 4th in the series, or it might be the 3rd in the series. I'm not sure, but I am definitely going to be carrying on, and like I say, I hope that Dante's brother is one of the books, because that would be so fun. If his brother is one of the stories, consider it read, literally. What I will say though is it's not a life-changing book. It's just one of those books that's fun whilst you're reading it. I can look back and acknowledge the fact that I liked it. It was fun, you know, just a cute little book. Has it changed my life? No. Have I necessarily thought about it loads since I've read it? Not really. But it's fun, it's cool, it's light-hearted really, and it's just one of them ones that's just good to pick up if you just want something fun to read. It's like the Twisted series. None of them have stuck with me strongly, but they're really good and I would recommend them because they are just fun. So yeah, I would recommend it 100%, definitely. It was fun. Like I said, yeah, I'd recommend it. I rated it 4-star, mainly because I do save my 5 stars for them books that keep me up at night and I read in a couple of days. Obviously this one wasn't that, but I loved it. So it's still 4.5 maybe stars because it was fun. No, it's 4 stars. So thanks for listening. I hope you have a good day.
Next week we'll be discussing God Killer by Hannah Kaner. So don't forget to get your comments and thoughts in by Monday the 10th of June at the latest to be a part of the discussion. You can now do this on YouTube, TikTok or Instagram. The following week will be Belladonna, but don't forget if you do need a little bit longer to read a book, we do list the next 4 books down below and on TikTok along with the discussion dates. That way you can choose a genre that best suits you and the best time frame to read it in. Thank you all for joining, and if you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It is always appreciated, and I will see you next week. Bye. When I first started filming these, I mean, don't get me wrong, they sucked, and there was a huge learning curve and experimenting and figuring stuff out, and there still is. But when I started doing this 52 books ago, it was one of the hardest things I think I'd ever done, and you know what? I'm super fucking proud of myself. Not only for doing it in the first place, but for actually sticking to it. I mean, I have a ton of hobbies that have stuck with me over the years, but none of them have kept my attention every single week for over a year. Honestly, if you're ever thinking about putting yourself out there and doing something like this, then definitely go for it, because in the grand scheme of things, people, friends and family, most of them probably won't even mention it. So even if one of them does and one of them says something negative, after 52 episodes, this has given me the confidence to tell those people to fuck off.